Good morning, everybody. So I'm sitting outside my house on Monday morning and made a bit of an effort today, guys. So I put a bit of makeup on. You know, the funniest thing is, like, look at this big fat mess here, you know? Like, I said to my niece, I said, man, when you put makeup on me, my niece, you go hard out. She goes, it's called blending, auntie. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, rather than just stripes. Good. Look, I must make a small disclaimer, a couple of wet patches, too early to talk about wet patches, of course, but, you know, this is, I'm out of the shower, you know, and to be brutally honest, I've been up, done my washing, cleaned my house, had a shower, naturally letting my hair dry, one, because a hairdryer's broken, and two, I clearly took lots of time to dry my hair with the towel. So anyway, boring conversation, who cares about that stuff. Look, how was your weekend, first and foremost? Hope you had a good one. My Saturday was probably a little bit normal. I ended up having meetings and I had some great conversations with Nathan Jones, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. I then on Sunday decided I was going to do no work. Now this is a bit of a big deal for me because I work all the time, and you know, and so I didn't do any work on Sunday, and I was kind of a little bit proud of myself, but I was also riddled with guilt. And then what made it worse is we had a moderate family disagreement about gravy. You know, and the stupid thing about all of that is, in COVID-19, when we're all stuck in the house and we're all just starting to probably feel a little fragile, you know, whether the gravy is made at 5 o'clock or 5:30 really matters, apparently. End of the world stuff, which I get really upset about. Then I turn into, no one appreciates me. I just wanted one day off. Can't you guys just give me that? Just want to talk to my friends. And a whole heap of, now some of that comes out, spitting, you know. We all know what that's like when we get into angry spitting mode. We don't talk, we spit words. Well, you know, blah, blah. That's what I call spitting words. Can you stop spitting your words at me? Anyway, so there's that. Sorry, I think it's quite funny. And then it turned into, you know, time out for everybody. And of course it's all done, you know, we actually, to be fair, it's actually been our first argument last night, which is pretty good considering. Doesn't mean that the tempers haven't been fraying, doesn't mean that, you know, life hasn't been on edge at times, but it's been our first kind of argument because we've got a 2-year-old. Everything's done like this. We don't talk very loud. And I'm laughing because I can see my face. So you try and have these really strong conversations, but you're not saying it out loud. And then you slam the door and I go into the garage and, you know, family members go wherever they go. I think actually Adifai scampered for the hills, to be fair, before it even broke out, because she realised that she'd probably started it by riling her dad up, saying, Mum said she'd cook, you know, gravy at 5 o'clock and, you know, she's on the phone to her friends. Which then rolled Dad up. Menno had no idea. Menno was oblivious. Anyway, look, I don't want to share that with you. Whilst it's very funny, it's always funny to think about these things in hindsight. At the time, it's like the end of the world. Brutally honest, probably, boys, you don't want to hear this, but I'm premenstrual, and even I was like, oh, yeah, that'll be right. I'm about to head into the world is over mentality. I'm so sorry, boys, you know, us girls. There's a piece of us that can't help it, you know. And I've tried really hard to help it over the years, and I've given in to the fact that, you know, 3 days prior to monthly time, I don't get angry, I get sad, I get my love language is service, so I want to serve my family, so I want to give. So of course, the flip to service is lack of appreciation. Yep. No one appreciates me. They don't know what I do for them. They don't understand how much I give up for them. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, the pity me parties are so much fun, aren't they? In hindsight. Anyway, so that was last night. What I tend to do though, and there is a you know, there is a happy ending. I did write down all the things that I was unhappy about, and I did get a very big I'm sorry. And I got a joke, because that's kind of how my family deals with stuff. So make a joke of anything that's, you know, anything emotional. Oh, hang on a minute. Whoa. We better make a joke about that, because, yeah, we don't want to get too close to those emotions. Anyway, that's so true. But there was an apology followed by, would you like me to rub your bum, your wasp-stung bum? And no is the answer to that. And but then it was followed with, there was a piece in there that said, look, I'm just going a little crazy. And that's the real piece in there. You know, you got to kind of filter through the humour, filter through the sarcasm, filter through, accept that I'm sorry, and then ask yourself, what do you need to take away from that? What do I need to take away as well? I can definitely fall into the pity me. Oh my gosh, look, I'm so sorry. These wet patches are not actually wet patches. Disclaimer. Too early for wet patch conversations. Anyway, so that's my weekend. So it was a pretty good weekend. Didn't end probably the way I wanted to, but in saying that, me and my husband did finish Sunday night watching a movie together. We watched The Ip Man, the finale. That was really awesome. Anyway, so that was that. Now here's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. 2 lessons or 2 tips. One is, how is the person behind the leader? Now this comes from Nathan Jones. So anybody who knows Nathan will know that he seems to live in a deep level of understanding across a whole bunch of things. But the one thing that I always get from him is this deep-rooted aroha, this sense of tupuna, and this mass amount of wairua that lives within him. And he just seems to know where to go to try and help you. Even though you're having a conversation with him, you're catching up, you're talking about potential business stuff, you're talking about a whole bunch of opportunities, you still end up in a space where you get more out of it than you ever expected. And I got 2 things from him during that time that I want to share with you guys. One is, who is the person behind the leader? And I've been talking a lot about the leaders lately, and I've been talking about stepping up, and I've been talking about asking leaders to be bigger and better than what they were before. However, the real question and the real thing that needs to be looked after is the person behind the leader. And leadership doesn't mean that you have to be out there leading an army of men across the Sahara or taking on the biggest, most momentous thing in the world with a whole bunch of humans behind you. Leadership could be just about how you're leading you through this. And so who is the person behind the leader? How are they? And I really had to think about that for me, and I thought, how am I? And generally speaking, and even though last night was a bit of a downer, but actually I had to go back and go, hang on a minute, Mitty, your life is pretty good right now. You're still, today I've got a client at 9, I'm working through to about 5. I've got up, most days have a semblance of normality. No, I'm not making millions, but I'm at least making a living to a certain degree, and setting up some stuff that I'm really passionate about and excited, and that gets me excited, so when you're doing that sort of work, your life is good, whereas my husband hasn't been doing anything. So a big aha for me last night was when he said, this is starting to get to me, and I thought, oh man, so how is the person behind the leader? And for me, I thought about myself, how am I genuinely, but there's still pieces of me that I still need to work through some stuff. But then over and above that, it's one of those things, where you kind of, it makes you question, how much are you giving to yourself? What more do you need to give? So that's message number 1. How is the person behind the leader? Message number 2 is, what are you going to leave in COVID? And I guess I've kind of talked about this in a roundabout sort of way, but I haven't really said, what are you going to leave behind in COVID? And he said, what don't you need? He said, this is a beautiful opportunity for us to really sit back and be retrospective. He said, I've been working forever, but I haven't had a break, and I knew I needed one. Now I've got one. Now I'm having to settle into me. So my question to you is, what do you leave in COVID? Do you leave lack of confidence? Do you leave fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of success? Do you leave that in COVID? Do you leave, husband and your children? No, kidding. I'm kidding. I would have been practicing that joke, okay? I'm totally kidding there. But what do you leave? What do you say you don't, what do you say doesn't serve you anymore? And I know those are two questions that I'm asking myself. I haven't got the answers, to be fair. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm happy to share it with you when I really figure it out. But I don't think that a 24-hour period is enough for me to really go, what am I actually going to leave behind in COVID? And how is the person behind the leader? I hope those two things are awesome for you. Have a wonderful Monday. 4 o'clock roll on. Let's figure out what's going to go on there. Much love. Have a great day.